Shalom, friends. When you are faced with a tough decision, do you start with the mindset that the harder choice is likely the right one? Many people believe that the harder path builds character, strengthens faith, and aligns with righteousness. While this is true in almost all cases, there are rare exceptions when the harder decision is not the correct choice. Today, we will explore this principle, why the harder choice is the rule, and when rare exceptions may apply. Throughout this video, we will examine this concept through the lens of the two greatest commandments, to love God and to love your neighbor. Let's dive in. The idea that the harder decision is usually the correct one is deeply rooted in Scripture and life experience. Rabbi Yeshua teaches, "If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me." Matthew chapter 16, verse 24. This call to self-denial is not easy. It often requires us to make choices that challenge our comfort and convenience, but it ultimately aligns us with God's purpose. The book of James states, "Count it all joy when you fall into various temptations, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance." James chapter 1, verses 2 through 3. This shows that enduring difficulty refines our character, making us more equipped to love God and our neighbor. In real life, the harder choice might look like forgiving someone who hurt you, choosing honesty when a lie would be easier, or staying disciplined in pursuing a long-term goal, like overcoming addiction. These decisions, though painful, align with righteousness and demonstrate love for others. While the harder choice is correct 99% of the time, there are rare moments when it is not. These exceptions must be approached with great caution and discernment, always measured against the two greatest commandments. One example is leaving a toxic marriage. While staying might seem like the harder emotional choice, leaving may be necessary to preserve safety and dignity. The Torah states, "If he does not do these three things for her, she may go free without paying any money." Exodus chapter 21, verses 10 through 11. This implies that neglect of basic needs can justify separation, even when the choice to leave is painful. Another example is refusing help out of pride. It might feel harder and more virtuous to bear burdens alone, but doing so can isolate you and deprive others of the opportunity to show love and kindness. Accepting help in such cases aligns better with humility and the command to love your neighbor. Rabbi Yeshua highlights a rare exception in his teaching on the Sabbath. When the Pharisees criticized his disciples for picking grain on the Sabbath, he said, "The Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath." Mark chapter 2, verse 27. This shows that mercy and compassion can override strict adherence to ritual law when human needs are at stake. The Talmud discusses this principle in the tractate Gittin, stating, "A person should always consider their intentions when making a vow. If the vow causes harm to others or violates the principles of the Torah, it should not be upheld." Talmud Gittin, page 35, side B. This reminds us that while difficult commitments may seem noble, they are not always the right choice if they conflict with God's commandments or harm others. The Midrash offers another perspective. The path that requires effort is the path that leads to righteousness, for God refines the heart through trials, but he does not desire harm to his children. Midrash Tanhuma Parashat Vayishlach, section 4. This reinforces the importance of discernment, ensuring our choices reflect love and compassion. When faced with a choice, begin with the assumption that the harder path is the right one. This mindset reflects discipline, faith, and a willingness to grow. However, use discernment to evaluate rare exceptions. Ask yourself these questions. Does the decision align with God? Does this decision align with loving my neighbor? Seek guidance through prayer, scripture, and counsel from trusted mentors. Always consider whether your decisions reflect mercy, justice, and humility. Remember, 99% of the time, the harder choice is the right one. It builds character, strengthens relationships, and aligns with God's commandments. Exceptions are rare and should never discourage you from embracing challenges. Instead, let these rare moments remind you to act with wisdom, love, and purpose. The philosophy that the harder choice is usually the right one aligns deeply with Scripture and life experience. While there are rare exceptions, the principle holds true in the vast majority of cases. When faced with a decision, start with the mindset guided by the two greatest commandments, to love God and to love your neighbor. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more biblical insights. God bless.